So the Battlefield beta came to an end last week, and I, along with a majority of people, have been left with the same feeling. This beta was awesome. I had such a good time. Oh my god, Lisa! But if the internet is to be believed, not everyone is happy with the game, and there has been a few controversies since the beta ended. So in this video, I want to talk about it. I'm headshotting them with a tank.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Now, if you don't know me, hi, my name is Ryan. Thank you for clicking on my dumb video. And most of the time, I make videos on VR things. But every now and again, a flat screen game will take a hold of me. Last time this happened, it was Helldivers.
We're throwing some stuff on there, Sam. Just keep them around that area. You're doing democracy.
And now, I'm happy to say it's happened again with Battlefield 6.
Oh, look at that. That's so amazing. Yes, boys.
But to be honest, before playing this beta, I was a bit skeptical. I am a massive Battlefield fan. I've played literally every single Battlefield game from 1942 to 2042. And let's just say the last Battlefield beta didn't leave me with a great impression.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
But then I watched the Battlefield reveal livestream event, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that the legendary VR smooth brain Habby was there representing us VR boys. And I don't know if he'd ever watch one of my videos, but in the crazy chance that he is, hi, you did great. I particularly loved what you did at the start of the first game.
Battlefield 6 Conquest, give me the helicopter. Give me the helicopter right now. I stabbed it. Oh, I did it. I'm in the helicopter. Okay, how do I fly? Oh, how do I fly? Oh, it's heavy. Oh. What? How do I? No!
Absolute cinema. The first death in Battlefield 6 was a helicopter losing control and flying into the side of a mountain. It doesn't get more Battlefield-y than that.
I should be up there.
But the reason I'm bringing him up is I know he's a massive Battlefield fan himself, and he said that the game was awesome, which meant going into this beta, my expectations were high.
Wait, they're on A.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. And when I loaded up the game and started playing, it made me realize a few things. One, I've clearly been playing too much VR as my flat screen aiming skills have decayed significantly. At first, I was really struggling. I cannot aim for shit. I cannot aim for shit. But then, after a couple of matches, that good old muscle memory started to kick in. I started battling the field, and you know what? I had a fantastic time.
Oh my god, that was sick.
Is there an enemy tank here?
Oh my goodness me, I have a helicopter.
I'm killing it with the repair tool. I'm killing it with the repair tool. I got him.
Oh my god, I got him!
I'm going in. I'm arming A. Should I stay in the room? Shit, yeah, no, I'll stay over here. You watch that door, Dom. I'll watch the front door.
Yeah. Oh, guys, coming in. Yeah, turn.
I got him.
Nice.
Look out! Oh, Jesus Christ! Now, I don't want to jinx this, but we've just had a Christmas miracle in August. It seems as if DICE has listened to us and learned from their past mistakes. Having said that, it wasn't until my 6th match where I had a moment where it all clicked for me. And it was as we were desperately trying to take the point on Liberation Peak. We got to the final push up the mountain, and it was at this moment that I started getting PTSD flashbacks of memories seared into my brain from my childhood, because it reminded me of a certain metro. It was chaos, bullets flying everywhere, medics running around like headless chickens working overtime to keep everyone up, and explosions. So many explosions. Everyone running around!
Oh my god.
Revive each other! Revive each other! Oh!
Revive everyone. Just revive. Pick each other up.
And it was in this moment that the game felt like Battlefield 3 to me. And that, at least for me, is the highest praise I could give this beta.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I think I got something done.
Are you dead?
Nice.
If DICE was baking Battlefield 2042 in an oven, that game felt like they didn't even put a timer on and took it out 2 hours too early. And if we compare that to Battlefield 6, it feels like they not only had a timer on, but then just in case they put another 6 alarms in their phone to make sure they got it out at just the right time. This game feels cooked, in a good way. And on top of that, they've added features that my P-brain didn't even know I needed. In any other Battlefield game, if 2 of your squad mates get into a tank, it would mean saying bye-bye to the other 2 members. In Battlefield 6, you can piggyback on the back of a tank, keeping squads together as a unit.
Oh, the boys rolled it out.
And you know we gotta talk about what's, in my opinion, the new star feature.
How did he beat me? How did he beat me? I shot him so many times.
Oh, he's dragging me. I love it. This is the drag is the coolest feature. Dragging. Remember doing that in the QuickTime event in the Battlefield free campaign? Well, now we can do it in the multiplayer, and it's incredibly useful and makes a big difference. Oh, the grenade. Any of you guys medics? I respect you. Thank you so much. I didn't know how much we needed dragging until I started playing. Now, instead of my stupidity getting shot out in the open leading to the deaths of many brave medics trying to reach me, they can simply drag me into cover. Genuinely a game changer for Battlefield. Then we get onto the building destruction, which actually feels like they've leveled it up. Oh my god, the destruction in this game is immense. There is something beautiful in the chaos of fighting in a building which is falling apart because a tank is hammering it. And when it happened to me, it genuinely brought me so much joy. Oh my god!
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
The destruction is fucking crazy. I've seen people on Twitter saying every moment in this game is a cinematic masterpiece, and for the most part, I tend to agree with them. For example, I saw this clip online of this tank turret. Destruction is truly back in Battlefield, and it feels so good to see it again. And then when the beta ended, I was left with one feeling, that I think DICE probably wanted us all to have, wanting more. Sure, there were some issues with the game, like people glitching out of maps at times.
There's a couple of them on the point, actually.
Wait, I think that, oh, they've done the glitch to get on the roof.
They're on the roof still.
Did you see what the guy said in the chat? The leader's ours now. The only thing that can stop us is asbestos. But as far as issues go, they were all surface level and can easily be sorted out by DICE before release.
Wait, I spawned under the map.
I can see you spawn.
Wait, let's see.
Oh wait, I can kill them from under here.
Yeah, I wanted to spawn on you, Jared.
This is like that time we got the boat under that map.
Yes,
right?
it was so good. And they couldn't have picked a better time to nail it, as it seems most people are fed up with the Fortnitification of games like COD, and are looking for this kind of experience. So I gotta hand it to DICE. Well done. This beta was great. This beta was so good, in fact, I'm incredibly tempted to pre-order the game. But I think I'm gonna hold off as I'm still a bit scarred from 2042. DICE and EA have pulled off what I consider to be a minor miracle with this game, and I'm kind of just waiting to see how they're gonna mess it up. But I'm still hopefully optimistic, so please don't let me down. Now, like I mentioned at the start, there have been some controversies since this beta finished, and as a YouTuber, I'm contractually obligated to chime in with my own thoughts. Let's start with a big one, closed versus open weapons. As a Battlefield purist, it should be no surprise to any of you that I think it should be closed. If you think about it, with open weapons, Battlefield 6 sort of becomes a hero shooter again, as you're basically picking a character with certain traits to go with your weapon of choice. And before any of you get your pitchforks out, you should know that in older Battlefield games, the weapons weren't completely closed. There was some wiggle room. Weapon types like marksman rifles and shotguns could be used by any class. So, in my opinion, they should go with the Battlefield Bad Company 2 system. Make classes closed, but with SMGs, shotguns, and marksman rifles as weapon types any of the classes can use. And then literally as I've been making this video, there's been another controversy. Basically, Battlefield have come out with a blog post and said that they're making changes to the game to nerf the movement. And for whatever reason, this seems to have agitated some people. I'm assuming because those people want to be able to bunny hop, kickflip 360 off rails and such. Now, this might be old man gamery of me, but I think Battlefield's done the right thing here. If you enjoy that kind of movement, that's great. I am genuinely really happy that you found a playstyle that you love. But that also means that Battlefield probably isn't a game for you. And ultimately, I think it is a really important thing that it's nerfed. If every FPS game has the same bunny hoppy running around movement, then what's the point in having different games? It's basically like that quote from The Incredibles.
When everyone's super, no one will be.
One of the things for me that differentiates Battlefield from other shooters is that you don't need to be an MLG pro aim training for 20 hours a day to do well. Yes, if you're good at aiming and do all the aim training stuff, you will be good at Battlefield. But you can also be incredibly good at Battlefield by using your brain and tactics. For example, during this beta, I was playing Breakthrough, and the enemy team were doing a really good job of holding the point. So if I decided to go headfirst into that gunfight with me not having used mouse and keyboard for a while, I would die 9 times out of 10. So instead of fighting head on, I took a different approach, flanked them, and this happened. Oh my god, I just killed everyone! And I love that Battlefield rewards this kind of play. Because Lord knows if I was playing Call of Duty and tried that, I would have gotten 360 no-scope instantly. Yes!
We got it.
That was so much fun. And just to be clear, there is nothing wrong with that. That's just something in COD that can happen because the game is designed for that. But I do think it's not a part of Battlefield. So yeah, thank you Battlefield for seemingly making all the right choices thus far. And I for one am counting down the days until I get a chance to try it again. In fact, let me see how long there is. But yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I know I've been a bit unorganized with uploads for the last 8 months or so, and because of that, the channel has suffered. I'm really sorry about that, it's a long story. But I'm happy to say I've been doing weekly uploads these past 3 weeks, and I'm gonna continue to do them until hopefully I can earn your guys' trust again. If you're watching this video on the day it goes live, there's a good chance I'm live streaming some VR survival games right now, and if you wanted to stop by and say hello, I'd love to have you guys there. But yeah, I think that about does it. Make sure to look after yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.